Joining me now to go further from that perspective is Congressman Marlin Stutzman, who serves, who's one of the first, in fact, one of the first members of Congress to actually visit Syria and meet with the country's new president there after the fall of the brutal Assad regime. He represents the 3rd Congressional District of Indiana. Congressman Stutzman, welcome back to Washington Watch. Thank you for joining me.
Jody, great to be with you. Thanks for having me on.
Well, listen, we're in the midst of an incredible discussion about what's happening in Syria with the attacks that have recently taken place. Let me get your take on what's happening there in Syria and what needs to be done to help resolve this issue.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for putting attention on this particular issue, because the reason that I got involved, I have Syrian Americans that live in Indiana and the Midwest that have become very good friends. Of course, I have missionary friends in Syria, a lot of Christians that are there. Syria is very diverse in its population, and we want to make sure that every group is protected. And that's why this moment in time is really unique, because Syria's been under the Assad family regime for over 50 years. Now that Assad is gone and al-Shara is the president, we want to be sure that this is an opportunity that we don't miss, that we can not only stabilize Syria and be sure that the people there that are wanting freedom and stability have that opportunity, but it's also a way to help stabilize the region. And of course, with it being on the northern border with Israel, we want to make sure that we get this right. And President Trump is the strongest leader, negotiator since Ronald Reagan, and he has met with President al-Shara, the new leader there. As he has a very checkered past, and I believe that President Trump is going to be the difference maker to be sure that the next leader of Syria doesn't allow for these events to happen that happened this last weekend, where several Americans were killed.
Yeah, and that checkered past was concerning and waves a red flag to many of us. Yeah. Now, I mentioned a while ago that I think I did, but you have been there personally. I mean, you have visited Syria. What, from your perspective, from what you saw, are some of the major obstacles that they have right now?
Well, the major obstacle is extreme Islam, a jihadist movement that is in the Middle East. That is the biggest hurdle. As we saw, even the attack on Israel back in October of 2023, it came from the Gaza Strip with Hamas and their group of people that they had convinced to attack Israel. As I learned more, we know that Hamas actually wanted Iran and Hezbollah and the Houthis to join with them in that attack. There was supposed to be a coordinated effort. Thankfully, that fell apart, but still, at the same time, over 2,000 Israelis were killed because of just the attack from Hamas. So this hatred is the problem in the Middle East, and that's what I believe why we need to be involved and put pressure on the new Syrian government, that sort of thought and that sort of action needs to be terminated. It needs to be extinguished, that we need stability for all the people in Syria. Many people there, of course, want it, but these foreign fighters and these jihadists that are there continue to be the problem.
So I think you bring up an interesting point. I think the next question is, therefore, how do you deal with hate? What do you think our country needs to be doing right now? What would you think this administration needs to do to resolve this potential conflict?
Well, I mean, I personally believe, Jody, that a belief in God and a belief that life is a gift from God is how we find our way to respecting one another, even if we have a different opinion on religious views. I believe that Jesus Christ is my Savior, and He's His words taught us all to love one another, and that's where we as Christians in this moment from America have this opportunity to stand for life, to stand for respecting one another, and to show that we can agree to disagree. America, we are the example of that, and that's why it's important, even here in the United States, that religious freedom be protected, that free speech be protected. I think that's the fundamental foundation that Syria needs to build their new government on, are those rights, that we are going to allow people to believe how they choose to believe, and we're going to respect that rather than putting people to death for disagreements. I mean, just like Charlie Kirk was assassinated for his beliefs here in America, That's why this is such a critical issue, that we protect religious freedom. We teach it to our children. We help our communities understand that that while we have differences, we can believe that we all have the right to life, that we have the right to our constitutional rights, that those need to be fought for every day. And I hope that that's the message we can send to Syria.
I hope so too. Do you see, less than a minute we have left here, do you see the will in Congress and in the White House to tighten the screws on Syria, to help guide them through this?
Yeah, I do. I really do. And, when I visited back in April, there's a lot of poverty there. There's a lot of destruction there that happened from the Assad regime. I mean, he just destroyed his country, whether it's an electric grid or whether it's gas stations at work, nothing really works there at all. So it's been completely demolished. So that's why I still believe we need to lift the sanctions, to move forward, to help the Syrian people. And then we need to really be sure that the al-Shara government follows what President Trump and many of us want to see happen in Syria, to build a relationship with Israel, join the Abraham Accords in the long run, and be a strong, consistent place that is going to stabilize the Middle East and not be a place where terrorism can flourish.
Thank you so much, Indiana Congressman Marlin Stutzman.